about this car?
This car is great because he's a really authentic guy and he likes to use real proper old school parts. So everything in the engine is really like BMW collection style parts.
And I've seen this before at Ultrace in Poland.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you went the first time without the engine, and then the second time where he won the top 16, sorry, and then he basically put the motor in, and that's what kind of put the little bow on the package.
Where is his shop?
Limoges in France. So yeah, he does loads of different crazy projects, either for customers or for his own cars. Got quite a few famous builds that he's done himself, and notably a Golf Mark 1, which was full carbon. And then he takes a lot of different client project cars.
This is such a beautiful build. So
yeah, it's crazy.
This was basically a rust bucket when he first got it. It was something that he saved.
100%, yeah.
This was going to be junk.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. He's basically had to start a restoration even before thinking about making it look like what it does today.
A lot of the parts on here are carbon because he makes his own carbon.
Sure.
What did he make on here?
The front spoiler, which is custom made, that's never existed. It's really something.
It's just like his vision?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because basically he got the arches from a car that we had previously, and we didn't need the arches because we're doing another project with it. And so we recuperated the arches from our place and then basically molded the front to fit everything, and well, the result is just crazy. And there's so many details if you really want to look inside, it's crazy.
And then this is carbon too? Because I could see the weave.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
He made all of this stuff.
Yeah, the difference in between the aluminium parts and the colour of the car. He's got a really good vision in what works well in the colour schemes and the materials. That's what I really like about him and his cars builds.
He had to replace all of these panels then?
So basically cut from literally the rear window, and everything's been remade. He's spent a lot of time making special metal parts to obviously restore the inside of the chassis. Got a really crazy engine. I mean, for a real BMW enthusiast to have an M10 like this, it's really spec'd like an old race car. So like all the ITBs, all the camshafts, everything inside the motor even is proper old school BMW motorsport parts. So it's like, yeah, it's a very crazy car for me. It makes me, it's really the ultimate sort of build because it stays authentic.
How did he even find this engine?
Gabriel just explained to me that basically the block of the engine he found originally, and then basically it's trying to find all these parts over different years with his contacts and people that will obviously help him out to try and find all these motorsport inspired parts. There's a lot of adapted parts to fit all together. But yeah, it's a very authentic build and lots of interesting things.
The interior, I think, is the thing that really stands out to me.
Yeah, the difference in colour between the beige exterior and the aubergine wine-coloured interior, which is done by LCM Interiors out in Switzerland. He's the guy just to your left. He's done all of the interior work himself at his shop. It's a bit of a different interior, but it really works well with the car and the industrial style, I feel. Yes. For me, it's the ultimate E10 that's been built so far.
It's really something else.
For sure, yeah.
So cool.
It's very performant. I mean, he tends to drive it now and again because obviously these sort of race engines, they don't like to be sat for a while. So yeah, it's 240 horsepower, 240 horsepower. So yeah, it's a real rocket as well. It's very performant and a show car at the same time.
How many liters?
2043 cc. So yeah, it's a very, that's how they were built in the classic days for racing the E10s.
Wow. What about the wheels?
The wheels, they're custom-made wheels, PS wheels, yeah. So they're 9.5 ET-3 at the front and 10.5 ET-20 at the back. Got a nice little side exit.
Yeah, the exhaust is so cool.
Yeah, it makes a really nice noise as well. Same again, the push handles, it's just a little tiny detail, but that's a really, really rare part from the race cars, E10 race cars in the 70s and 80s. So, I mean, to have that sort of thing is just incredible. Even the pedal box is a proper Tilton. Yes, everything you're looking at is a real authentic, old style sort of piece.
What a vision.
Yeah.
What transmission is he using?
It's a dogleg 2002 Ti. So yeah, it's extremely, extremely rare to have.
Even the wheel.
Limited slip diff that's very rare as well for the car.
The dash is just so beautiful.
Yeah, the work's really nice. And he just told me he's installed a phone charger as well in the middle. So there's loads of little gadgets as well.
Right there, I see.
Yeah.
And then so the perforation is incredible.
Yeah, it's
like
with,
where it is perforated and where it's not?
Yeah, it's laser cut.
What about the door panels?
Yeah,
Are
that
these
was custom
handmade?
made. Yeah, custom made. Same as the rear hatch shelf. He made it himself, and yeah, it goes really well with the industrial type of style of car that it is.
So then how much does this weigh?
So it's about 893 kilos the car weighs. So yeah, it's a
so
pretty fun
light.
car to drive.
So then, what about the roof? Is it metal?
The roof's still metal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so what's carbon on here and what is
So
metal?
we've got the side skirts, which is from a turbo model. We've got the arches, the rear boot lid, the front, the hood, and all the front face basically is in carbon, which is very well painted and everything because it's quite difficult to see unless you're really trying to look at it to find those sort of details.
I'm surprised it's this light, considering it still has glass. There's still a lot of things that you could do, I guess, to lose more weight. Yeah. But then at the sacrifice of comfort and the sacrifice of functionality.
Everything's been lightweighted in terms of the drivetrain. It's more about how the engine responds and how it feels in driving. Yeah, it's a real race car. Like to change gears, you have to really dump the clutch out to try and get your gears to go through and stuff like that. So it's a really gnarly race car sort of thing.
The air system is pretty crazy too.
Yeah, Prazis air system, yeah.
I am so blown away at this build.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
incredible.
Just so incredible. Like this is the level of build I expect to see at Ultrace.
Yeah, for sure.
So then the fenders you're saying are authentic ones?
From basically we bought a crashed 202 TII. With the idea to make a Group 5 project. Obviously these arches aren't Group 5, so when Gabrielle came to cut them out of our car, we actually realised they were original BMW arches, so yeah, they're original in carbon. So obviously he's had to remodel them because they were quite in a bad state, so he's had to obviously repair them and get that to work.
So then this air dam,
Yep.
he just invented it, or he just came up with this out of his own mind? Like did he use clay, or how did he figure out that it would look like this?
So yeah, he started with metal to basically have the right shapes. Took a lot of different pieces, a lot of trial and error, and he managed to get this result now, which is for me incredible. So yeah, he's saying to me there's a lot of work been put into the brake system, and then obviously, like I was saying before, the drivetrain that's been lightened and all that sort of stuff. It's a really crazy build to be honest. So here we have wheel racing brakes that have been lightened. Basically wanted a lightweight brake system for the racing side of things, and a solution obviously for the handbrake, considering it is a race road sort of car. He gained roughly 25 kilos on the braking system from the original weight. So it's quite incredible.
Wow.
So yeah, it's pretty insane. So yeah, in the rolling weight, obviously that's even more effective. So yeah, all the brake lines, all the fuel lines are all in aluminium. Same thing for the weight.
What is this line here?
So that is the fuel lines. Yeah.
Okay.
So like a mappable ECU to obviously make everything run well.
Wait, but this is fuel injected?
Yeah, you can see the little nozzles. They spray directly into the ITBs.
What an interesting setup.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean,
it's almost like a carbureted feel.
Yep.
But it's fuel injected.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's slide throttle?
Yes, I think it twists and then they open obviously the guillotine. In French we call that guillotine.
Yeah. It is a slide throttle. Can you open it? Can I see it?
Wait. Yeah, he's going to do it for you.
What? That is so cool!
Yeah, it's a really nice engine.
That is such a cool setup.
I'm not sure how much he's put into the engine, but we were looking to do something similar, and it's a lot of money to have all these kind of parts. It's really crazy.
This is such a great build.
He's asking we can start it if you like.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm not sure, that should be okay with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can try it. I don't care.
It'll be fine for a couple of minutes. So that's to switch the battery on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the sound it makes is...
That's so crazy.
And
Dude.
the crowd goes wild.
This setup is so interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of having the injectors
Plugged
on
into
that
the,
side, is this for aesthetic reasons, or what is the actual reason for the injectors?
I think it's more authentic. Classic race cars were set up like that, and it is very pretty. So yeah, best of both worlds.
But that was a carb setup, though, right? I mean, this fuel injection, wasn't a thing around this era.
So yeah, it's basically a performance question as well. So aesthetics and performance. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's saying it's a 80s style type of injection for race cars. So
it's amazing to me because it's actually pretty efficient. 120 horsepower per liter. It's making so much horsepower per liter.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, he spent a lot of time on the engine to get it to that performance. Yeah, he's just explained to me that his idea to begin with, he wanted the M12 engine, which was found in the E21 Group 5 cars or other similar cars of that age. So he wanted to keep the base of that, which is the M10, and create his own version of that, which he's done very well.
What year is this car originally?
There's 73.
73.
Yeah.
And then how long did the build take overall?
So the first time he built up the car without the engine, it was around 2 months to do everything, and then around 8 months to have it into this final version that we see today. I remember just before it came to Ultrace, they were really trying to, they kind of had 3 or 4 days without sleeping to try and get the car finished, because obviously he's working on other clients' cars and stuff like that. So it was a bit of a rush towards the end of that to get it ready, but yeah, in total, about a year and a half sort of thing. Yeah.
And that was for the Polish one?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Got it. And then this is it almost its final form?
For him, it's the final version. I think he'd like to, from what we've discussed previously, he'd like to go into another similar build, but something else.
Has he had any offers to buy it yet?
Not yet. It's a bit difficult in Europe to try and sell these kind of cars. What he was thinking is perhaps taking it over to the States, where there'll be perhaps a bit more of an easy reception about this kind of build.
Has he already thought about how much he would sell it for?
He'd like 80 to 90,000 euros.
That's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I feel so too.
Surprised.
Yeah,
that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could sell it right away in the US for that price.
I'm sure. He wants to take. Well, he's really passionate. He's not here for money. He'd like to build something else a little bit more incredible again.
Tell him I would love to visit him in France.
No problem at all. Yeah, there's quite a few crazy projects he's actually doing at the moment.
Maybe I'll check him out when I go to his shop.
Exactly, yeah, no worries.
These are my favorite kind of builds because these are the ones that came from somebody's single concept.
Sure.
Versus like an OEM race car or something like that. It's like so much of it he's done himself. I really appreciate that, so much, it just because so much skill goes into building this.
Yeah, he's a very skillful guy. I mean, that's why the car that we're trying to build, he's going to help us along with that, because I mean, his work that he does with it, it's another level. It can't be compared, to be honest.
Where are you based at?
We're based in France, next to Geneva. We have a small shop, like I said, where we sell classic German car parts, especially tuning, 80s tuning, so like BBS body kits, wheels, accessories, that kind of thing.
What's the name of the shop?
It's Classic Autoworks, and we've opened now a bar where we have a car actually situated in the inside, which changes quite regularly. Yeah, it's a nice spot, quite friendly, with nice feel, kind of like a cafe bar sort of vibe. Trying to build our own project car. We already have built cars previously that have been at Ultrace and been in the top 16 at Ultrace. In 2021 we were there with an E30, a blue E30 with a clean bay, 4-door E30 with air ride, which was a really nice clean build as well. So yeah, we're trying to make the time to build a second vehicle to expose, and obviously which helps with the business side of everything.
Thank you guys so much.
No
really
worries.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you too.
Love this car. Can't wait to see what you're going to build next.
He's got plenty of ideas.
If you want to support us, head over to camerasandcarculture.com. My book, Life at Shutter Speed, is for sale there, as well as t-shirts, merch, pins, diecasts, you name it. Thank you guys so much.